All right, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from RicoScores, and man, these Washington Commanders players have been getting busy while on vacation. They could be at home chilling, they could be doing whatever they want, but you have a lot of the offensive players working out together. You have Jayden Daniels working with Stroud and Bryce Young. You have Jayden Daniels even throwing to elite receivers from other teams like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm gonna give y'all a lot of the clips, like video, pictures, all of that of these different situations. Of first, we're going to start with Jayden Daniels. The first third is going to be Jayden Daniels and what he's been doing throughout the summer. I'm going to show y'all some of those clips and things like that, and then we're going to show some of the other rookies from this 2024 class, what they've been doing during the offseason, how much work they've been putting in the gym and things like that. And then lastly, we're going to finish it up with Commanders veterans, what they've been doing. I mean, you even have Frankie Luu, who went to Greece for vacation and came right back and got straight to work. So again, this video is going to be filled with a lot of pictures, a lot of clips, a lot of videos, things like that. And I'm going to give my opinion on everything that we look at and discuss everything. But before we dive into all of that, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content. Really appreciate y'all being patient with me. I was hoping that I could do like daily videos all the way up to this point, but just ended up busy in like the most random of ways. But make sure y'all stay tuned because I'm still getting the content up to y'all. I refuse to go 2 or more days without getting the video out to y'all, and then hopefully I can sit down and really start to get down to these film sessions for the rookie class. And I can't wait for training camp to start back up. I believe the rookies report July 19th, so I'll have y'all covered with all of that as always. And without further ado, let's go and dive into this video, man. Let's get it. Adam. All right, and so we're going to do a lot of this in chronological order, at least for the sections. Like when we're talking about what Jayden Daniels has done so far this summer after mandatory minicamp ended, we're going to do that in chronological order. Then when we get to the section with the rookies, chronological order. And then when we get to the veterans, it's going to be in somewhat chronological order. But the Jayden Daniels one, definitely chronological order. We're starting all the way back on June 21st when Jayden Daniels was with Stroud and Bryce Young, and they were working out together. Of course, more than likely in Cali, because they grew up in that Southern California circuit with all of those guys being quarterbacks, being similar in age. Like Jayden Daniels and Stroud are both from the IE together. Now, Bryce Young is from the Pasadena, I believe, still Southern California, but you know, quite a bit of ways. But either way, these three guys have been rooting for each other, but at the same time have a really healthy competition against each other as well, where they push each other to be better. So I love seeing Jayden Daniels around those other quarterbacks, especially Stroud. With the year that Stroud had last year, I'm hoping the Commanders, I wouldn't put any money on it. I'm not saying that we will, but it would be nice. It would be very nice if we could somehow do what the Texans did last year. The Commanders 2024 could look like the Houston Texans of 2023, and it starts with the quarterback. The Texans drafted a quarterback second overall, Stroud. Jayden Daniels was drafted second overall by the Washington Commanders. Same thing. I mean, you have the first quarterback that a lot of people feel like was a better quarterback based on the numbers and things like that. You have Caleb Williams to Jayden Daniels. You have Bryce Young to Stroud. And I'm not saying that Caleb Williams, I feel like Bryce Young's situation is way more on the Panthers than himself, first of all. And I also feel like Caleb Williams will be a great quarterback. But I definitely feel like, hey man, at the very least, I hope that Jayden Daniels can go out there and give us what Stroud did for the Texans last year, man. And so anytime he could be around him, I mean, they're so competitive but such close friends at the same time. Like Jayden Daniels even pointed out in this interview with Keyshawn Johnson that, yeah, Stroud was nominated for more Heismans than me, 2 to my 1, but I won more Heismans than him, 1 to his 0. He pointed that out in the interview, like that's his boy, and I love how competitive they are with each other and always staying in touch. I mean, anytime that they get a break from football, those guys go back to where they're from. That's the IE in Cali, and they hang out, they, you know, whatever. And if Jayden Daniels can just pick his brain, I mean, they're close in age, but it's still like you've already done this whole NFL thing. You've already had the entire rookie season in the NFL, ups and downs. You even got hurt at one point, had to miss like a game or two, I believe, and then still found a way to win a division, make the playoffs, even win a playoff game. Whatever advice or any type of tips that Jayden Daniels could get from CJ Stroud, the more the better. And honestly, it's actually pretty cool too. Just if you think about the fact that these guys are childhood friends, with Bryce Young being a first overall pick and CJ Stroud and Jayden Daniels both being second overall picks, that's amazing. That's a really cool story from those guys. And then you also had a time when Jayden Daniels was working out in Nevada, as you can see on the screen right now from these pictures. And I'm honestly not exactly sure who he's working out with in these pictures, but he's in Nevada. I believe they're college football players from somewhere around there. Maybe he's connected to them from Arizona State. Maybe they're people that he knows from growing up in the IE in California. Not exactly sure, but either way, this man Jayden Daniels was basically going on a circuit during this whole break. Again, a lot of people take this time to chill with their family, do absolutely nothing football related. Some people leave the country. Some people even, you know, just go to Disney World, whatever, go to an island resort, whatever. Jayden Daniels is on this circuit of being in Cali. We're going to talk about Oregon later, Nevada, wherever he's got to be to get some work in, to get better as quickly as possible, to develop as soon as possible so he can be ready for this regular season of his rookie career. He's been doing it, working out with whoever. If Commanders players aren't available, because at that time, this was, I believe, June 18th, that when these pictures came out from the Nevada situation, maybe Commanders players were too busy doing something else. Maybe they were enjoying their vacation. Maybe they wanted some time off. Jayden Daniels was like, nah, no time off for me. I need to work. I'm about to be a franchise quarterback for this organization that hasn't really done much the past 20 years. I gotta be ready to make these people proud and give them something to root for. And then next up, you also had him back in his hometown of San Bernardino, all the way in the IE. That's where these pictures came from as well. And I know some people saw the helmet and were thinking, are the Commanders potentially going to get a golden helmet? But I think this is more so just an LSU yellow than like a burgundy and gold for the Commanders. I just wanted to go ahead and make sure we address that while we're here. But again, I mean, we've already talked about back home in the IE with CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. Now we're back in the IE as well, but now without those guys. Even if those guys aren't working out, I still am. We've had Nevada. You know, we're just keeping track as we're going along. We also have some more stops as well. Then there was a time when he was working out, and I believe this may have been in Nevada as well. Just a couple of more pictures, and this guy, I mean, whoever he can work with, he's working. I absolutely love it. And apparently the guy that you're seeing in the pictures is Kale Breslin, who is a 3-star running back, a BYU commit. You know, just to kind of keep you updated on who some of these people may be in these pictures. Then there was a time that, I mean, we've already seen him, and this doesn't really have much with how he's been working, but we've seen him somehow in the midst of being with among all of these other people, other quarterbacks, other receivers, running backs, whoever, from other teams, from the Commanders. Again, we'll get to the Oregon trip soon, but he's always found the time to spend some time with Brandon Ayuk, it feels like his best friend. Always try to make sure I draw this distinct line because he's very close to Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas and those guys. Of course, he was just with them at LSU for the past 2 years. But if you had to project or guess who Jayden Daniels' is like best friend probably is, it's probably Brandon Ayuk. You even saw him with Brandon Ayuk on his interview with the Pivot and all of that type of stuff, all of that drama that's going on, and Brandon Ayuk trying to go to the Commanders because his best friend Jayden Daniels is on the Commanders. I'm pretty sure this whole Brandon Ayuk to the Commanders rumor and drama and all of this chaos would not be going on if we didn't draft Jayden Daniels. I'm pretty sure it's a Jayden Daniels thing. Now, there's also probably other parts of the Commanders that probably intrigue Brandon Ayuk a little bit, because he said if it's not the 49ers, it's the Commanders or Steelers. And maybe there are some things outside of Jayden Daniels that are kind of like extra, but without Jayden Daniels, I'm pretty sure Brandon Ayuk does not want to come to the Commanders. He probably will even look twice our way at this point. So again, that's just his best friend. And even all of this time that he's finding a chance to spend with everybody else, working with whoever, even guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown and things like that, he still finding time to hang out with his boy Brandon Ayuk. And then next up, you also had a lot of Commanders players working out at the University of Oregon. You have Jayden Daniels, you have backup quarterback Marcus Mariota, and that's why they're at the University of Oregon. That's his school. And Jayden Daniels even said that he was jealous of how his Heisman Trophy was like set up at Oregon. He was like, man, LSU got to do right by me. They got to do a better job of that. But either way, you also had Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson, your top 2 running backs. You had Jahan Dotson and De'Ami Brown, 2 of your top 4 wide receivers there as well. And there were a few others on top of all of that. And apparently it's being said that Marcus Mariota was the one that organized this, that brought everybody together, which I thought was pretty interesting. So shouts out to Marcus Mariota for organizing this, and then shouts out for Jayden Daniels being at anything possible that he can be. As far as anybody working, bet I'm there. Where y'all at? Oregon? Okay, cool. I'll fly up there from California real quick, then I'll come back to California to work some more. But anywhere where anybody's working at any time, Jayden Daniels seems to find a way to get there. And again, like we've already seen at other times when even other Commanders players aren't working, he's finding a way to work with somebody. Even if it's college players, even if it's guys coming out of high school going to college, he's always working. And then you also have this clip of Jayden Daniels on Instagram Live as of yesterday, July 6th, because I'm releasing this video like late at night, technically early morning. But he was on IG Live with Rachaad White and said that he's basically been throwing to Lions wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown during his training in California. So those times that he's in California with CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, or maybe without those guys, he's found time to also throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Here's the clip right here.
Out the way, huh?
Yeah, what you on? When you going back to Washington?
Couple weeks.
You just chilling at LA till then, huh? Training and shit?
Yeah.
Who all out there though? Like who you been throwing to?
St. Brown and all them, they've been out there.
Hey, he said no boosty. Chill out. Hey, we on live, baby. We on live.
And now this has piqued my interest, because if it weren't for this Instagram Live and Rachaad White asking that question, we may have never known that Jayden Daniels was ever throwing to Amon-Ra St. Brown in the offseason. So now I'm questioning, like, has he been doing this with other players? Are there other interesting names out there, players from other teams that would be like, wow, okay, Jayden Daniels is getting a chance to work with him as well during the offseason that we may not know about? Jayden Daniels is probably putting in 1,000,000 times more work than we're even seeing from these clips and pictures that I'm providing you. This is probably just a small portion of what he's been doing this offseason. I'm very sure he's been working his tail off, and it's just really interesting that he's out there connecting with even guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's already proven at the NFL level. He already has his quarterback in Jared Goff, and just Amon-Ra St. Brown, I believe, is from Cali, so it just seems like a lot of the Cali people are just meeting up and being like, hey, let's work type of thing. Amon-Ra St. Brown, even as established of a wide receiver as he is, he's like, hey man, I'll work with Jayden Daniels. This guy seems like he knows what he's doing. Now moving on to the rest of the rookie class, because it's not just Jayden Daniels. You also have Dominique Hampton out here working his tail off. Here are a couple of clips from Dominique Hampton. These are two clips that I'm just going to go ahead and play back to back for you. And I'm really excited for him, because we just don't have a lot of 6'3", 220 guys on the team. Like, that's just a certain archetype, and Dan Quinn especially, but Joe Jr., you can add in there as well, have done a great job of utilizing those hybrid safety linebacker type of guys with that exact build, with the long length athleticism, the explosion, the speed, you know, that star position, that extra DB on the field type of guy that can play in the box, going all the way back to Cam Chancellor, even to a lesser extent of Jaron Curse of the Dallas Cowboys. Now we have Jeremy Chin, but also do not sleep on Dominique Hampton. I feel like they really liked him coming out of the draft. I feel like the reason a lot of people are not as high on him as they should be is because when you're watching this tape, a lot of it is him playing free safety. I feel like his more natural position will be somewhat of like a star hybrid safety linebacker type of guy that's around the box. I feel like he could be great at that potentially at the NFL level. I feel like that far better suits his skill set. So I'm really excited about Dominique Hampton's future with this team. And then you also have cornerback Mike Sver still getting in some work ahead of training camp as well, out there doing his drills. And I'm loving the footwork. I'm loving the agility. I'm loving all of it, man. I'm super excited about Mike Sver still. I truly believe he's the type of guy. We're talking about the secondary, like who's going to start at outside corner, who's going to start at safety. All I know is No matter what you do, Mike Sanford still should be on that field 70% of snaps. I don't care if it's running the ball. I don't care if it's throwing the ball, whatever. Whatever the offense plans on doing, Mike Sanford still should be out there unless he's tired. That's it. That's the only reason you take him out of the field. Because it's crazy. Our safety position is so deep. I mean, right now it's looking like Jeremy Chin with his elite athleticism and versatility, and then Quan Martin, similar, maybe not to the same extent of a Jeremy Chin, but very athletic, very explosive, one of the highest verticals, I believe, from in like safety history at the combine for the NFL. And then also his versatility, he can play any position in the back, in the secondary, really, except for outside corner. And those seem to be your two starting safeties is what it seems like so far in practices this offseason, but it's very early. Who knows? Things can change. But then you can't forget Derek Forrest, who showed some immense flashes for us a couple of years ago before he got hurt last year. You can't forget Percy Butler, who's been showing flashes as well. He's really fast, really rangy, a true free safety, rangy type of guy, single high potential type of guy. It's just like, you're going to have to play all of them. Joey Jr. even said it himself. He's like, man, stop asking me about who the 11 starters are, because there's no such thing. We're going to have like a rotation of 15, 16 guys that all get similar level of snaps to where it's hard to really isolate who are the like 11 specific starters, and that just goes to show a lot of the versatility, especially in the secondary. But even on top of all of that, I know, yeah, we have all of these versatile pieces, we have all of these talented players all over the place, especially in the safety group, but Mike Sanford still needs to be on that field as much as possible. You work around Mike Sanford still. You don't work Mike Sanford still around what you're doing with the rest of the no. Mike Sanford still is an automatic cog in the defense, and then you build the defense around that. He's just that talented. I truly believe in him that much, his instincts and everything like that. Then let's talk about some of the vets. You have safety John Johnson out there with my boy Jeremy Chin, probably one of the players I'm most excited about going into this season, especially out of the free agent class. I know a lot of people are excited about Bobby Wagner. I know a lot of people are excited about Frankie Luu, with great reason. Jeremy Chin's probably the guy I'm most excited about out of any free agent we sign. Now, of course, you know, Jayden Daniels at the draft and things like that. You know, it's hard to beat a quarterback as far as excitement goes, but Jeremy Chin is easily in my top 5, so I'm happy to see him working like in this clip right here. And again, just to remind you, all of these clips and pictures and videos we've seen and talked about so far in this video, just want to remind y'all that everything we're discussing and looking at in this video are during vacation. A lot of NFL players are just chilling at home with their families, taking this as an opportunity to like not have to worry about football, think about football and the grueling days of practicing. These guys are going above and beyond and putting in this much work so that when training camp comes around, they are ready. Now, speaking of vacation, you have Frankie Luu, who even took some time to go to Greece and enjoy himself. That's what you should do. And the clip you just saw, I believe, was uploaded on June 18th, and then this next clip was uploaded June 24th. And then another one July 2nd. Let's go. I'm telling you, man, Frankie Luu is ready. I just did that video a couple of days ago, how people are talking about he'll potentially make his first Pro Bowl, and It was, I think it was Doug Farrar or no, it was Doug Farrar. Mike Clay felt like the Commanders had the best linebacker group in the entire NFL, even over the 49ers. It was Doug Farrar who felt like Frankie Luu is the second best linebacker out of the entire NFL, only behind Fred Warner. So I'm really excited about Frankie Luu and what he's going to mean to this team. Dan Quinn even went out of his way when I even asked about Frankie Luu and then threw Frankie Louvu's name out there. In his answer in response to a question about the versatility of the team, he brought up 3 names: Jeremy Chin, Quan Martin, and Frankie Luu, unprompted basically. He was asked a question about versatility, but he himself brought those names up. Frankie Luu was one of the top guys and went on to even compliment Frankie Luu even further. And then next up, you also have wide receiver Dyami Brown. And he posts quite a bit on his Instagram, and this was a great one right here. And I'm really excited about Dyami Brown, man, because I really think that if he can figure it out as a receiver, become more nuanced, be able to run more routes than just a 9-go route, be able to get open underneath, be able to, get the footwork together, get cleaner out of your breaks and things like that, I think he can be something special. There's a reason that Chris Sims was so high of him coming out the year that he was coming out of the draft a few years ago. And I mean, already his floor is already relatively high. He's going to make the roster. He's going to play at least a little bit because he's arguably our best blocking wide receiver. But can you please catch the ball, man? Can you please learn how to get open underneath, not just deep down the field? And then we'll see where we can go from there. And then he also took a selfie picture with Marcus Mariota. Again, when they practiced at Oregon earlier, when we were talking about it and showing you during the Jayden Daniels section of the video, here's just his personal selfie with Marcus Mariota. And then also Derek Forrest and Malik Harrison held their 3rd annual free football camp, as you can see on the screen right now. Well, it's actually coming up. It's coming up July 13th, ages 5 through 13. Again, Walnut Ridge High School, all the way in Columbus, Ohio. I guess that's where Derek Forrest is from, I'm assuming. And I understand a lot of players stay in the community where they got drafted to do things. Like for Commanders players, they may stay around the DMV area. One player is doing such a thing. We'll get there soon. But a lot of people go back home and do things from where they're from. And I love both ways. I mean, it's great if you can do both. But either way, I just love when these guys give back and all of that type of stuff. So shouts out to Derek Forrest for partnering with a Raven on that effort. And then also you have Deron Payne, and this came out just yesterday, July 6th. The way he looks like he's ready to have a bounce back season compared to what he dealt with last year. I feel like a lot of the problems were the fact that he just was on the field too long, way too much, him and Jonathan Allen. I feel like once Johnny Newton is healthy and we can have a healthy rotation of Johnny Newton, Jonathan Allen, and Deron Payne evenly splitting snaps, that's just going to make Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen far more explosive and efficient compared to what they were last year. Because a lot of the time they were out there on the field last year, they were fatigued. They were just out there because we literally couldn't throw anybody else out there. Fadarian Mathis hasn't really done anything at all yet, and John Ridgway, love him, but he's more of like a nose tackle, double team, run stopping type of guy. If you're trying to rush the passer, if you're trying to get a guy that can penetrate and disrupt the quarterback space, get pressure, QB hit, sack, whatever, Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen are your guys as far as interior defensive linemen. Johnny Newton has the potential to be that as well, so I think there will be a healthy rotation there, and that healthy rotation will keep everybody not only fresher as far as like fatigue and things, but also healthier. You're typically going to get hurt the more you play. And I just feel like it's just going to be a huge benefit to everybody with us drafting Johnny Newton. Johnny Newton not only makes your defensive line better because he's a great player, he's also going to make Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne better. As you can see, Deron Payne is not putting in that work this offseason. And then next up, you also have Brian Robinson. In this clip right here, he's getting ready with some footwork drills.
Drop it, get out of there. Drop, get out. Stick. Lean, get it.
And I love it because I remember at some point during, I believe it was voluntary OTAs, Austin Eckler, somebody pointed out, I can't remember who said it, but they pointed out the fact that, yeah, Brian Robinson looks good. A lot of these running backs in our running back room have a lot of talent, and Brian Robinson's probably the better athlete, especially at this point in Austin Eckler's career. But in practice, Austin Eckler is running these drills way better than everybody else, noticeably better. Far more crisp, more nuance, more attention to detail, more intensity, more effort and things like that. So I'm hoping that Austin Eckler is bringing attention to those drills for Brian Robinson and those guys to see. And then Brian Robinson being like, okay, yeah, I need to step my game up. And it looks like he's definitely trying to do so from his work that he's doing, again, during this vacation that the NFL players have right now. And then also, speaking of Brian Robinson, like I alluded to earlier, foreshadowed just a couple of minutes ago, Brian Robinson was spending time with some youth at a camp that he had in Virginia. So Derek Forrest went back home. I believe he's from Ohio well, at least that's where he went to college, but he's probably like born and raised there as well. Maybe, I'm just guessing. But Derek Forrest went back home to hold his camp for the youth. Brian Robinson chose to stay in the DMV area, well, at least Virginia, to give back and encourage the guys, the younger kids and everything to focus, get with football and all of that type of just great stuff that those guys are doing over there, man. I love it. Again, do it either way that you want to. I just love the fact that those guys are giving back to the community in the way that they're doing, especially the way that they best know how, teaching them football. I love it. Then you also have Jahan Dotson. He's out here working in these pictures that you see on the screen right now. And I believe these are pictures that are from the Oregon situation where a lot of our offensive players were out there, most notably Jayden Daniels and Marcus Mariota, and even Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, and those guys. But I believe these are just solo pictures where it's just only Jahan Dotson in it. But just looking at the background, it looks like it's the same thing. This is not something separate, I don't think. And then lastly, before we get up out of here, here's a guy that was, having a little bit of fun. I mean, a lot of these videos and clips were people working, but sometimes we got to have some fun. And we're going to end it off with Sam Hartman, as you see on the screen right now, catching a pretty big fish on 4th of July. So this is how he spent his 4th of July. That's just his thing. I rock with it, man. So shouts out to him for having fun the way that he knows how to have fun. Shouts out to all of these guys spending their time the way that they want to. I love the fact that Jayden Daniels, though, in contrast, it seems like he's spending every waking moment that we've seen digitally, that we've seen on the internet, finding a way to work on something, like throwing to whoever he can, running whatever drills. He has his trustworthy coach that he's had for a few years with him at times and things like that. I absolutely love what Jayden Daniels is doing, but we also got to take some time to also acknowledge the fact that these players deserve a vacation. So shouts out to Sam Hartman for going out there and having fun as well, man. A nice little healthy balance. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know if you feel about everything discussed in the video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content, man. I cannot wait until we get to training camp so I can give y'all those daily updates on that, at least as many updates as I can, if they allow the media and the fans to have any access to the practices to see or whatever was going on. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. But even leading up to that, I'm about to start. I've already been starting to watch film on the rookie class a little bit more, getting my notes together, and now I just got to put it in video form for y'all. Really excited about that. So stay tuned for all of the content. And of course, do not leave this video out leaving a like. Really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.